meanwhile, we still have women and children and those who don't identify as man or woman who are getting killed just as much. I just get personally frustrated. But then when we have the debates about, well, all lives matter, it's like, okay, get that, but you got to bring the attention back to why we even started this in the first place.
I think when you're having these conversations, it's important to look at like Black culture as a whole, and to look at how like deeply woven homophobia is in our culture in general. It doesn't just start from like when we're kids, but also I think like for people who grow up in really religious families, that is another way, that is verbal or non-verbally, a way to communicate to us as children that this is not acceptable. And then because like that idea has been communicated, even to people who aren't like religious or have spirit or like spiritual at all, they still hold on to that view, and then it's further like pushed by the hyper masculinity that is demanded of Black men, and to challenge that, and to even address that that LGBTQ within Black community is a real thing would be to challenge that hypersexual Black male. And I think that is something that speaks like your point that is something that is really like deeply woven within like the Black culture. It's to be like a strong Black man, or not even a strong Black man, but just like to be a man's man, if you will, and to step outside of that, even if it's just like in the smallest of way, like maybe changing the way you dress or something, challenges that, and it can cause problems. It can cause problems for those who aren't understanding.
I feel like it goes definitely all the way back to slavery. I mean, like the whole slavery, there was buck breaking, there was the whole demasculation of the Black man, there was the whole taking away the dignity of the Black woman by raping her and everything like that. So, and then they pushed, the Bible on us. So, like, that was our only outlet, was our faith. And so we're so deeply rooted in our faith, primarily because of slavery. That's why we hold some of the values that we have in regards to like homophobia or, masculine man. He's the head of the household. I've learned that, when Black men are like even at the young age, 10 or 9 or whatever, and they're the only guy or boy in the household, they instantly become the head of the household, So it's just definitely deeply rooted. Everything's deeply rooted into slavery. I mean, like, it's something that's going to take time for us to break away from, but when we were taught and it was pushed and it was literally forced into us, it's going to take time. Not that I agree with it, but I feel like we have to really look at the deep root of the problem.
So when we get into the meat of Black Lives Matter, when we talk about the focal point being of men, but we look at the historical origins of it, it started by 3 Black queer women. So let's talk about that a little bit further. So what does that mean?
Oh, never mind. Wait, that it was 2. But whatever. This is your show.
If you think about it, a lot of big civil rights movement have been led by individuals who are LGBT, because even with the guy who was the main guy who was behind the civil rights movement couldn't be part of it because he was gay. So like, I feel like a lot of people gets pushed to the back and they don't get recognized because of certain images you're supposed to have. It's been a lot of people who have been out doing stuff, but they don't get recognized because they don't have the face that the movement needs, or they don't have the face or the beliefs that people believe like the movement needs to get pushed forward. And sometimes it's harder for people to follow. Not saying that it's right. It's harder for people to follow stuff that they believe is wrong. So if those individuals would have came out and be like, hey, we're trying to push this forward, people wouldn't end with the respect it deserved because they wouldn't have respected the people who did it.
Yeah.